Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp and Chance. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson. Here we are Thursday afternoon, and I am joined with my man, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you today, buddy?
Not too bad. It's wet out here, which is nice. It's getting rid of all the ice and the snow, so not too bad.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so here we are. We are doing a boxing show today for all the boxing fans out there. And as we said on the wrestling show earlier this week, we would love to hear from all of you to give us some insight and some feedback on what kind of things you want us to talk about, what topics you want us to touch on. Some fights that you guys want us to talk about, past fights, future fights, boxers, wrestlers, whatever the case may be. What do you guys want to hear about? We've had one person come and ask us to talk about Survivor Series
Yeah, that was
94.
cool.
That was fun. It was kind of impromptu. I wish I had a bit more time to kind of go back and watch it, but that was fun. Yeah, it was really good. So we want to be able to do more of that for you guys as we go along here. But that also being said, guys, at the bottom of the screen, if you see, you can find all our social media links. Please like and subscribe to all of those as well. That would be awesome. And let's just kind of go from there. So I'm throwing the ball to you guys, man. Let us know what you guys want to hear, what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about, and whatnot. And yeah, let's just rip this shit up.
Absolutely.
Also, before we get started here, I wanted to just touch on this really quickly because I know a lot of people listen to the first 10, 15 minutes, and then that's when people start to disappear. So Christmas is coming. That being said, guys, I just finished reading this book right here. It's the autobiography of the Bushwhackers. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Cheers. An amazing book. I tell you what, I was impressed by it. Really good read. Amazing history. It gives a bit of an insight to New Zealand wrestling and how these guys got together. And it's just quite a story. It's quite riveting. Really,
I've
really
got two
good.
chapters left. It's pretty good overall. Not too bad at all. It's an enjoyable read. A lot of
Yeah,
good
yeah.
stories. I mean, it's not, to be honest, the best wrestling book I've ever read, but it's pretty good. It's
No,
an enjoyable read.
I
I'd recommend it if you're a wrestling fan to purchase it.
definitely. It's Amazon. It's available on Amazon. Again, it's called The Bushwhackers, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Guys, pick up your copy. Also, that being said, if you don't have this yet, you got to pick this up as well. Uncontrolled Chaos, written by our friend of the show, Mr. Vance Nevada, Mr. Beefy Goodness. This is an amazing book as well. I think it's more of an encyclopedia than it is.
Yeah, I was about to say that the Encyclopedia of Canadian Wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely it is. But the stories in there are really good too. The way it's written, the way it's put together, everything about it is phenomenal. It's
He's
a
already working
really,
on his next book already.
yeah. So both these books are available on Amazon, or you can go to their websites as well. But guys, for any wrestling fan out there, if you don't know what to get them, these are reasonably priced books. You can't go wrong with that. And you know what? Grab it and hand them out to your loved ones. All right,
Absolutely.
Chance, here we are. Here we go. Here we go. Let's start off in London and take a look back at Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora, part 3. 60,000 fans in an open stadium. So there has to be something there when 60,000 people are willing to sit in
And
the cold.
59,100 were there for Tyson Fury. It's like,
Well, whatever the case may be, I mean, it was what it was. I mean, they came out to watch the whole show, the whole card, and what have you. But before we get to Tyson Fury, let's just talk about the co-main event very quickly. Daniel Dubois against the South African fighter Lenners. So this guy comes into the fight against Dubois with a 28-1 record. He fights out of South Africa, but if you look at his record, all his fights have been in South Africa. Now,
yep.
I don't know what the quality of heavyweight boxing is in South Africa or what
Not
the
as good as
standard
North
is,
America and Europe.
right? But I mean, that being said, that was my thought going into this fight. But when he hit him right on the spot on the equilibrium and he knocked him down 3 times, I'm thinking, oh shit, this guy's for real. And credit to the referee, he didn't stop it right away because he, maybe he took into account that this guy's from South Africa, taking nothing away from this guy. But I mean, at the same time, normally you would think the referee would stop the fight after 3 knockdowns or something like that, right? But Daniel recovered.
Well, yeah, the no 3 knockdown rule, right? So he didn't break any rules by doing that. But
no, he didn't. But I mean, you just think, okay, the guy's being knocked down 3 times in 1 round. Okay, let's just try to figure this out.
Yep.
But the referee did not stop that fight. And yeah, so basically that's how that all kind of played out there. Um, but let's get right into it. So he basically, kind of found his bearings in the second round and knocked him out in the third round.
Yeah,
Or
that's
the ref
crazy,
or
eh?
the ref stopped it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Apologies for that.
DKO.
So it was kind of interesting how on one hand the referee was kind of hesitant to stop it, but as soon as Dubois landed some quality punches and got the guy in trouble, it was over. Do you think that's biased, or do you think
No,
that's
the ref was saying that he saw there was so much damage done. He stopped the fight because he thought he was going to get severe damage. The three knockdowns, according to the ref, he didn't think they were that much damage done. He fell down, he knocked him down, but he didn't think he was severely hurt as he was when he stopped the TKO. That's what he says.
well, that's really weird though. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I kind of see it differently. You put someone down on the mat 3 times, especially heavyweights, man. We've talked about this before. I mean, at the
Yeah,
end
they
of
hit
the day,
hard.
they hit hard, right? I mean, even the worst heavyweight probably hits harder than you and I combined.
I hope so
So
with all the weight they got. Yeah.
yeah. So from that perspective, it was just kind of an interesting thing. I just wanted to touch on that. And that kind of ties into the rest of this fight here. So Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, they came out wearing winter coats. Derek Chisora is sponsored by OnlyFans, eh? Interesting.
Is it?
Well, it looks like it. He had it on his trunks. He had it on his robe. I mean, so I don't know any dudes who have an OnlyFans account. I don't know how that would work out for them. But man, it
He's just the guy though. He doesn't get much endorsements. He'll take anybody that will sponsor him. Pretty much is how I see it.
well, the way I see this fight, this was Tyson Fury ensuring the pension for Derek Chisora.
That's what it was. It was an absolute sparring match for Fury. He just toyed with him, hit him.
Well, I mean, let's look at the numbers here at the end of the day.
Mismatch.
So, Tyson landed 205 of 481 punches thrown, which gave him a 42.6% final on that. Chisora only landed 87 of 276. You
It's
got
one of the
nothing?
greatest mismatches you're ever going to see in a heavyweight fight. It was absolute disgrace. I mean, that's why the odds were like the matchmakers knew this is just a complete joke. I mean, they're friends. He helped them with the pain. I get it, but Chisora had a zero chance. He's
Chisora
slow.
had
He's
zero chance.
old. He can barely
Yeah, he's
move,
old, but you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, respect to
and
Chisora.
he's fighting the best fighter in the world at heavyweight. Right? He'd never had a hope in hell.
Respect to Chisora for sticking in there and putting up the fight that he tried to do. I mean,
Yeah, he
he
didn't
would he
quit.
would
I give him
never he
that.
would
Yeah.
never quit. He thanked the referee for calling the fight at the end. He knew he was done.
I'm surprised that in the commentators, I listened to American, they were saying the corner should have stopped it. The ref should have stopped it a lot earlier. Most people were saying, but Chisora didn't want to stop. He wanted to keep fighting. So props to him for that. But I mean, it was just
But it makes me wonder
a
how hard
complete
Tyson.
beatdown to
It
sum
makes
it
me
up. A
wonder how.
domination.
It makes me wonder how hard Tyson was actually hitting him though, because I mean he lasted 11 rounds, right?
Yeah. I think it was
So,
10, but yeah.
oh, sorry, 10 rounds. Tyson was just kind of toying with him the whole
It was a
time. I
sparring
mean,
match. And we just
I,
getting the
I,
work in and yeah,
I think after the third round, he could have put him down anytime he wanted to.
I think so too.
But I think he was just trying to get the work in. I mean, sparring and training is one thing, but actually being in the ring and working, that's a whole different experience, right? And considering he only had
It's sad
six
to
rounds.
say, but the best part of the night wasn't the fight. It was the confrontation after when Fury got in Usyk's face and just beriddled him, man. That was the best part of the night. It was most
Yeah,
exciting.
so Tyson Fury calling out his WWE type persona there. I mean, it was all a work, obviously. None of it was real in terms of what he was saying or whatnot. He was just trying to get the crowd riled up. Off the cameras, he saw them shaking hands and, like, all right, good show,
Well,
good
they
stuff,
respect as a fighter. I don't think Tyson
right?
respects him as a man, though. He respects him as a fighter.
Well, I think a
Different,
lot
right?
of that promotion there at the end, though, like I said, it was cool to watch and everything. But I think a lot of it was just to promote the fight coming up, to
Oh,
get
yeah, he's
people
talking
riled
smack to
up,
sell a fight for
obviously.
sure.
But I don't think he meant half of 90% of what he was saying to the guy. I don't think so. But you know what? I mean, that's up for debate, I guess, at the end of it all. But yeah, I mean, here we are. We're gonna see that fight next. Joyce jumped up on the apron as well. So if Usyk does pull
Smart
out
play by
again,
Joyce, but Fury called him, oh, you can get some too because it's good promotion for him.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, that's probably the next fight he has is going to be against one of those guys, right? I mean,
Well, it's going to
all
be
the
Usyk for sure.
well, we hope it's Usyk, right? But I mean, it was supposed to be Usyk on December 3rd. Then it
It's
was
going to
supposed
be
to be
Usyk because
Joshua.
Usyk wouldn't have showed up there if he wasn't going to fight him next.
Yeah, I know, I get it, right? But like I said, I mean, after his fight with Joshua, all he talked about was, I don't want to fight anyone until I
Yeah,
fight
but now he's
Fury.
saying he's only going to fight Fury, and that's it for him.
Well, that's what he said before as well. And then when the fight, showed up, and he
No,
said,
no, I
"Okay,
mean
let's do it."
after he beat Joshua, I'm only fighting Fury in March. He's been saying that for a while, so it's going to go down. Joyce will
Yeah,
get it after Fury wins, but
yeah,
right
fair enough.
now it's Fury Usyk for sure. It's easy to match to make. They're both going to do it,
No, no,
especially
100.
after that kind of smack talk.
I get it, I get it. But like I said, in the world of boxing, and one thing I've learned: never say anything is real until the ring
It's
music
not
hits
100%, but I would
and both
say
guys in the ring, man.
90% chance it happens.
Yeah, let's hope for the
And
best there.
Fury, when Fury beats him and knocks him out, people are going to say, "Oh, he's just a middleweight." You know what I mean?
For
He's a small
sure.
guy.
So where does Chisora go from here? Should he retire?
Oh yeah, he probably has severe concussions after that. He got his skull caved in. He's old. He's slow. He just got paid a bunch of money. If he fights again, it'll be a bunch of guys we've never heard of. There's no point in carrying on. He's
Yeah.
never gonna get that kind of payday again.
So where do the commissions and promoters kind of come into all of this, where they're supposed to stand up for their guy and look out for their best interest? It doesn't seem like this was the case for Chisora in this fight. I mean, his corner didn't throw in the towel. I mean, the
He was
referee.
telling me he didn't want to, right? I mean, they do work for him technically.
No,
So I don't know.
obviously I get that, but I mean, Deontay Wilder told his corner not to throw in the towel, and they did it because they were concerned about his health, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you've been on the road with the guy, it's like if you were a fighter and I'm training you and I'm with you day in, day out for 12 to 20 years, at some point, I know you better than you know you in a lot of
I
ways.
just seen it on Sunday at the boxing gym. Two guys are sparring. One guy was getting rocked. Some of these guys just have that ego and they don't want to stop, even if it's a light sparring match.
Well, Chisora, his last 5 fights that he's had, think about it. I mean, he lost to Joy Joyce, he lost to Usyk, he lost to Joyce again, I believe. He beat Pulev, and now he lost to Fury.
I guess because he went the distance with Usyk, people thought, you know what, he can hang around a little bit still. Usyk doesn't hit that hard, not as hard as Fury.
No,
he hits
doesn't.
hard, but not on that level.
No, but what my point is, though, in sparring and everything as well, if you think about sparring and all that kind of stuff, even then it was kind of like he hits really hard. If you look at some of the videos of Chisora training, he doesn't hold back in sparring either. So I mean, if you
No, but he couldn't hit Fury though. It's too good.
Well, Fury's just too tall too, man. He couldn't get
That
inside.
too.
I mean,
Too slick.
Fury's the master of fighting from the outside, right? And as long as he held that position, Chisora didn't have a chance, which is why he was saying to him, let's just stand in the center of the ring and throw. That was the only chance he truly had. Like, he might have gotten knocked out, but he would have probably gotten a couple licks in there at that time. But you could see that right hand just was not connecting because he couldn't get close enough to the guy. He threw it enough times. He tried. I know he tried, but it was just unfortunate to see, right?
If Chisora ever does fight again, he'll be on the undercard somewhere, third, fourth fight down the line, fighting an average heavyweight. That he'll never main event again.
If Chisora fights again, shame on the commission, shame on his promoter, and shame on his trainers for letting him go again. He got his gold watch. Tyson Fury made sure of that. They're friends.
Yeah.
He insured his retirement. He insured.
Yeah, it was nice of Fury to do that for him.
He ensured that his family was set. Call it the gold watch. You know what I mean? That's the way I kind of look at it. But that being said, let's move on to the second trilogy of the night that happened this past Saturday. Estrada against Gonzalez, also known as Chocolatito. I will say this: I didn't think this fight lived up to the last two.
It wasn't quite as good, no.
It wasn't quite as good, but it was a good fight.
It's still good though.
That being said, Chocolatito kind of, I wasn't sure what was going on with him there, man. It's kind of like he was in his driveway with the car started and the engine revving, but he wasn't going anywhere. And this is the problem with him. I find that, he's a slow starter that way. Like, he loses those first couple of rounds that he probably needed in this fight, particularly. That first round was just horrible. I didn't expect it to play out that way, taking nothing away from Estrada, right? But I think Dude got out after the fifth round. That's when Chocolatito kind of took over. Up until that point, I had him going into the fifth round. I had Estrada winning the fight. I'm thinking, oh, fuck, here we go. This is going to be a one-sided affair.
It looked that way, but then I don't know what happened. He just turned it on.
Well, Chocolatito just woke up. He woke up and he started going, and you could see the diminishing skill sets of both guys. One guy was rising as the other guy was going down. You know,
Well, he's what, 35 now, so he's getting up there.
well, Chocolatito is 35, right? And the way he fights is very much like Derek Chisora. He doesn't fight angry, but he fights very aggressively with that front foot forward, always pushing the action. You know, so I mean, if you fight like that for 54 fights going into this fight, I mean, of course it's going to take a toll on you, right? I mean,
Yep.
boxing can age you
Well, it's
overnight.
all about reflexes and speed, and then eventually, once you hit your mid 30s, most guys slow down. Unless you're a rare breed like a Pacquiao and Mayweather, 90% of guys right downhill.
Well, in terms of Mayweather, I think his longevity was based on the fact that he's such a defensive master that
Yeah, but his
nobody could
reflexes were
hit him.
still fast, still could hit the guy, even at
No, no,
38, 39.
no, I understand that, but that also has to play a role into the amount of damage that you take, right? I mean, if you're
Yeah,
not
that
taking
helps.
any
Yeah.
damage or none of those things, you can be 39 and still have a great sense of reflex, right? I mean, that plays into the mental side of it. You deteriorate in boxing, you deteriorate physically, but you deteriorate mentally too over time.
Well,
And
that brain
I'm
damage you're taking to the
right.
head.
So in the case of Chocolatito, yeah, he slowed down. He's 35 years old. He's going into this fight. He was 54-3 going into this fight. So
Yeah,
this guy's
he's got a good record.
he's
Good
got a
fighter.
great record, right? I mean, he's at one point he was top 3 pound for pound in the world at his best. So taking nothing away from Estrada, but I mean Estrada gassed out. I think he gave everything he had to Chocolatito in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And that's when he woke up and started coming. But I mean, at the end of the day, one judge had it at a draw, the other two had it at what, 115, 113, and
Yeah.
116, 114 or
Something
something
like
like that.
that.
You know, for Estrada, I get it. I mean, I'm not going to say Estrada didn't win, but I don't think this was conclusive to determine who the best guy was. I almost feel a fourth fight needs to happen to kind of see where these guys
They
go.
might do 4. I mean, that last fight was good, but wasn't good as the first two, like you said. So I don't know if there's enough interest for a fourth fight. Maybe.
I
Let's see it
think there
again.
is, man. I think there is interest just because that the fight that Estrada actually won is still, you know, marred with controversy and people saw
Mm-hmm.
it very differently. Where this one, yeah, you could say he won, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think Chocolatito kind of won majority of the rounds after number 5. Like he took the rest of the fight,
It could have been a draw. I mean,
right? I mean,
7-5, maybe Estrada.
I had it 7-5 Chocolatito at the end for
What, did you?
myself. Yeah, I did personally. Yeah. I think it just really came on. I think that 5th round could have gone either way, to be fair. But I gave that 5th round to Chocolatito. I mean, I was almost about to give him the 4th round, but then he got hit really hard with that right from Estrada, which kind of changed my opinion on that one. I mean, the guy can take a punch, but how many punches can that guy take like
Yeah,
that?
he
Right?
can. It was a good fight.
Right? He left himself open for a lot of shots, and unfortunately, a little bit too late, right? I mean, it was what it was. I'm not arguing with the decision. It's fine. It is what
It
it
was
is.
close. Yeah, it could have gone either way. You could have had a draw. A draw wasn't a bad call by that one judge either. That was
No,
fair, I
no, I
thought.
think, you know, I was fine with it either way. In this particular fight, I was okay with the other way. I was a little upset with the second fight. Obviously, I thought Chocolatito had won that fight, you know, in my opinion. So, you know, even though the judges scored it the way they did and the way it all stands is technically 2-1 right now, I would say it's 2-1 the other way, you know, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
they're probably going to do a fourth fight. I hope it's not right away. Fight some other guys, but it might happen right away.
Yeah,
Depends how much
no, I
money's
mean,
on the
but
line.
you look at both these guys coming into this fight, the fights they had previously. Chocolatito looked amazing. Estrada looked pedestrian.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't look great in his last fight coming into this one. So, you know, and even the commentators, I mean, it was a really pro Chocolatito kind of commentating, at least with what's his name there? Mora, Sergio Mora.
Yeah, Sergio Mora, yeah.
Yeah, like he was really like, I'm not saying he was a homer or anything like that, but you know, it was just a
He's
lot of
very
good.
biased. He likes his guys that he likes, and he ain't shy about it.
Yeah, yeah, and former WWE backstage announcer Todd Pettengill. What do you think of his job on the boxing?
He's not bad. He's not bad. I was going to say it at the end of the show, but I'll say it right now. 45 years ago, they started HBO, and 4 years ago today, they ended HBO boxing. That by far is the best commentating team, the best production, all these other things like we see on top. Right? These commentators just aren't as good as Jim Lampley and Manuel Stewart and Roy Jones. That's how they had that whole production. It's just,
Yeah, well,
it's good, but it's just not as good. How Pettingill's all right. He's not bad anymore, but they don't have that mystique that HBO has in the fights. It doesn't have that, I don't know, that special feel when you watch it
I
sometimes.
tell you what, man, I like Lampley, God rest his soul. Emmanuel Stewart was probably one of the best trainers of all time.
And great commentator too.
And a great commentator as well. I mean, Teddy Atlas was a part of that crew for a while too. He had
A little
George
bit,
Foreman. He had George Foreman a part of that crew for a little bit as well.
But the peak was Kellerman, Stewart, Jones, and Lampley. They had all those big fights, and it's too bad it ended. HBO stopped. I don't know why they stopped. They put the best boxing shows on ever. All the big pay-per-views, all the Pacquiao and Mayweather, Tyson's, all HBOs. And now we get so many random, we got PBC, we got ESPN Plus. It's just not the same. It's not that one big channel. HBO had all the big fights, and now it's random. It could be so many promotions and productions. It's not the same quality.
And you know what? I mean, someone can argue that before that time, the stuff that we're used to watching growing up as kids were not of the same quality. So I mean, for every generation,
maybe, but they had the
it's
game on
always
lock
that
for
way.
45 years. So
Well, I mean, they did, right? But I mean, it's just the evolution of the sports, the evolution of the networks. I mean, it is what it is. Someone else comes in and takes
yeah, but
over.
evolution doesn't always mean better though either, right? They are changing, but it doesn't mean it's better because less people are ordering pay-per-views on boxing than they were before. So I don't know if it means better. It is evolution, but it doesn't make it always mean better though.
I get it, but we can't change the fact that people are going to come in and change things up, right? I mean, it's
No,
just
no,
the
I'm
way
not
you
just
gotta.
telling you that was the premiere, that was the creme de la creme. It's like John Madden and Pat Summerall. You're never gonna get a better commentating team than that. It's
I
like
don't know.
Bob Cole and
I
Prime.
think
You're not gonna beat
no.
that.
See, I'll disagree with that. I mean, I think John Madden was cool and stuff, but there are better commentators than John Madden out there, obviously now. And in terms of Bob Cole, like I said, he was great in his day, but I think he diminished himself
No, I'm
by
talking
sticking
prime though,
around.
dude.
No,
Prime
no,
for
I get
prime.
it.
These
I
guys
get
are
it.
the top.
I get. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'll say Bob Cole was good in his day, right? But I
Oh,
mean,
he's the best. He's the most famous hockey announcer.
yeah,
Those catchphrases, the voice. It's the voice. It's the way
I
they
was more
dress,
of a Howie
the
Meeker guy.
charisma, the swagger.
I liked Howie Meeker better.
Yeah, but he's good. It's like you could say that you like, a dude at the local bar better than Mick Jagger, but the fact is, Jagger's Jagger. You know what I mean? Like there's certain commentators that are just like held in that upper echelon. And
No, I
there's
get
no
it,
box
right?
commentator right now that's in that upper echelon with Jim Lampley right now. There's some good ones. Pengale's all right. Mauro Ranallo, I find him to be he's a little sometimes, I don't know, contrived or fake sometimes. Everything is the biggest shot he's ever seen, the biggest fight, and like it's just a little bit over the top with Morrow sometimes. He's good, but it's a little much, I think.
Well, that's his style, though, right? That's
He
how
doesn't
he
let the
kind
fight
of.
play out. He's always got to talk. He's always got to jump in. Like sometimes he's got to set. Like when Jim Lampley was calling the Gotti Ward fight, he would sometimes be quiet for 30 seconds, let them exchange, and you just watch the flow. But Morrow, he's got to tell you every move, everything. Like sometimes it's like a kid with ADHD, just can't stop. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of Morrow's mental health, but like you could see it when he's talking. He's just so amped up, and he just never stops. He doesn't let the fight. Sometimes the best moments are when the commentator is quiet. Example, when Hank Aaron broke the Babe Ruth home run record, Vince Scully went quiet for 30 seconds. He just let you watch him go around the base. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to let the moment just do the talking without you yapping.
Yeah, I totally agree with
the
you. I
little
have
things
no
that I
problem with it.
noticed.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I mean, at the end,
But Todd Pettingale's not bad, and Morgan not bad.
no, I wasn't even talking about them. I'm just saying as a whole spectrum. I mean, it's just
they're not bad. It's
just a different time, right? I mean, boxing was at a different time at that time. Those guys had probably different types of freedoms that these guys have today in terms of what they can do and say. But I will agree.
And Lampley's not even that old. I think he's only mid-60s. I don't know why he did that some of those Triller fights, right?
Yeah, I know he did the Triller fights,
but I don't know why somebody doesn't bring him back in. How old is he? He is 73, so he's still got some good years in the tank.
Possibly, but I mean, let's see where he kind of goes. Maybe he's happy in retirement too.
Well, I think he's going to want a big payday too, right? You can pay a guy like Pettingale half the price.
Well, I mean, Todd does his thing and whatnot, like I said. I mean, but then to be honest, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I don't think anybody can put a hand on any of the British commentators. I think hands down, they're my favorite to listen to. That's for me.
For boxing, not me. I like the Americans myself.
No, see, British
ones aren't bad. I like the Americans.
I love the British boxing commentators when it comes to boxing. Even when it comes to watching like soccer, World Cup,
soccer, yes, I like that.
Right, like that. If it's an American guy commentating, I'll watch it on mute.
No, I agree with you on soccer, the English
right? But the
for boxing myself, I prefer American.
No, like I watch both. I watched the Fury fight with British commentators, and I watched it with the US one just to see both styles. And Andre Ward and the crew there, they did awesome. I loved it. It was really cool. But we knew what we were going into with this fight with Tyson Fury and Chisora, right? We knew what to expect. We knew what was going to happen. We knew this was wrong in a lot of ways to even happen. But they still made it fun. That's what I liked about the British guys. Like,
Ward just kept complaining. This shouldn't happen. It's going on and on and on.
Yeah, but it was just fun. They made it exciting, and just the words that they used, they're like fucking thesauruses, man. Like, there's just the way they describe the action and just the words that they throw out there. I've always loved them. I've always loved
I don't
them.
mind British commentating. I'm not knocking it. For soccer, absolutely. For boxing, my personal take, I'll take the Americans any day myself.
Fair enough, brother, man. And that's you, and this is me, and that's why we do what we do. All right, so that's basically a review of those fights and a bit of an argument debate over commentators. What do we got coming up on the schedule here, man?
Well, we got a few things. First of all, I'm going to start with my favorite fighter of all time. Manny Pacquiao is fighting DK Yoo in Korea this Saturday, 7 o'clock. It's on the Fight app, $27.99, 6 rounds, exhibition fight. DK Yoo is basically a mixed martial artist. He's a martial artist and all kinds of disciplines most people haven't even heard of. He even has his own system he created. It's called Warfare Combat. So, it's like he does Hapkido and what else is he doing? All kinds of like non-mainstream, like it's not Taekwondo and stuff. He does Tai Chi, all this kind of stuff.
So he's kind of like
so they're having a fight. It's 6 rounds. It's boxing. It's in Korea, $27.99, which I will be ordering, 7 o'clock. That'll be the fight that I'll be watching that. And I know there's other fights on the Crawford fight, Lopez fight. I'll watch it after. But if Pacquiao's fighting, I'm watching. It's only 6 rounds. It'll be fast.
So 7 p.m. in the evening or 7 a.m. in the morning?
7 p.m. out here for us.
Saturday?
Yep, Saturday night.
Wow, so that's like a Sunday afternoon fight or something there.
Yeah, it's early morning. Yeah, I can't remember the exact time difference, but yeah, it's earlier morning.
All right, man.
They want to hit the North American market, which I get.
I think I will stream it for free if I can. I can't justify 6 rounds for $30, man. But I know he's your favorite. For myself personally, I'll probably try to find a free stream. I don't know if I'd want to pay $27 for that.
Well, I would have paid 64 for some, like $27.99.
But you're a package. But that's your favorite guy, though, right?
Yeah. I've spent a lot of money on traveling on to watch him. So
exactly.
I hope he does good because he said, well, he's going to win. But he said if he feels good, and let's not forget he's 44. He's an old man, but for boxing terms. But he said if I feel good and I look good, then I will resume my professional career in 2023. He still wants that fight with Spence because I think, I'm not saying he'll get it, but that somebody will fight him because he's a big name and he'll make money fighting him. So he said he'll see how he feels. I got a feeling he might fight again professionally. Exhibition, he can do that all day, but I'm talking professionally. He said he's thinking about it. He's on the fence. See how he feels and looks, I guess.
But going up against,
if he does, I will be there.
Right. But going up against a guy like DK, like you're saying, I mean, he's got all these disciplines, but how much boxing does he have? I don't know much about him, so I'm asking.
Not much. He just what he does when he trains martial arts. So
Pacquiao's
gonna whoop him. It's not gonna. I don't think there's any knockouts allowed. It's like it's like the Hatton.
No, I get it. But if he feels good going up against this guy, do you think he might be giving? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, bro. I'm not trying to kind of diminish Pacquiao in any way whatsoever. This is my only concern about it. You're saying that he's saying that if he feels good, that he might consider a comeback and what have you. But if he's going up against someone like this who doesn't have a boxing pedigree, do you think it's going to fill him with a false sense of pride, possibly, to think that he can come back to the ranks and get his?
That could be possible. And he also knows this guy's just an average Joe in the boxing world, right? So
yeah.
I think he's getting out there feeling loose. He's getting a nice little payday, going to Korea and get the name in the spotlight. And maybe he fights again, maybe he doesn't, but I don't know.
Okay. Wow. I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun.
6 rounds only, so it's a quick fight.
It's perfect. So if people want to get this, how do they get it?
On the Fight app.
It's called Fight app?
Yeah, the Fight app. That has all those bare knuckle fights and all that stuff. Fight, FITE.
Oh, FITE, the Fight app. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay.
Fight app. I think you can get it maybe on another thing, but I'm pretty sure it's only on the Fight for North America.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I mean, I have the app as well. I thought it was called.
They got some cool stuff. They got a lot of bare knuckle stuff. They got some weird stuff. A lot of kickboxing.
Yeah,
They got a bare knuckle fight from Thailand coming up that day, so they got all kinds of random stuff. You ever watch that bare
yeah.
knuckle fighting?
I try to. I'll be honest, man. I think that for me, like of all the combat sports and everything, that's probably just the most brutal form of it.
It's vicious. They also have Impact pay-per-views on here too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they have impact
AEW
on
too.
DAZN now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, there's episodes you can watch episodes of Impact on DAZN. Before they
Oh,
had
I didn't
Major
know
League
that.
Wrestling (MLW) on there. Now they
Yeah, I knew they
have
had that. I didn't know they had that
yeah,
though.
now they
That's
have
cool.
Impact. I discovered it when I was going back to watch the Chocolatito fight again.
Oh, okay.
And because again, I like to watch. I don't know about yourself, me. I'll watch it live, but I like to go back and watch it a couple more times after the fact, right? I mean, it's kind of like your favorite movie. Even though you've seen it 300 times, sometimes you still see something you never saw before,
Yeah, no, I know what you're
right?
saying. That's nice about the zone is you can go back and watch it and pause it wherever
Yeah.
you leave it. Pause it takes
But here's what
starts
I
from
don't
there.
like about the zone. I mean, it's a paid app, right?
Yeah,
Why are they fucking showing commercials still? Like, well, I'm not
that
paying
that
for
helps keep it
commercials,
cheaper. I guess they pitch in. I guess advertising.
but still, it doesn't make sense. Like the whole idea of having an app that's strictly like that. It's like, okay, yeah, you can watch NFL on DAZN, but you're still getting all the fucking commercials. Why don't I
Yeah,
just watch it on CTV or CBS or Fox?
I guess it's more the convenience of you can do it from your laptop. You can do it from your phone. They have the boxing, the wrestling. They
I
got
get
these
it.
specials on there, like
No, I
you
get it,
know,
but it just almost feels like I shouldn't have to pay that much for a subscription then. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's overpriced or it's costly that we can't afford it. But I mean, on the
And they're
WWE
showing things you
network,
can't get. Like they show a lot of the soccer matches we won't get in the regular cable out here. Stuff like
well,
that.
I get all that, right? But I just don't think you need to give me advertising,
Yeah, but I guess they're just some
right?
that they're just taking the NFL feed off a regular channel, right? So they have to play those commercials and be able to cut it out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not, it is what it is.
I know
It's
what you're
just
saying, but that's kind of the idea
if
behind it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I have to gripe about something about that, that would probably be it. But I
Yeah,
mean, the zone's doing a pretty good job. But I mean,
yeah, not
it's
bad.
been pretty good. Spence is, or sorry, what's his
Crawford.
name? Crawford's fighting this weekend as well. I don't know what to think of this one, man. I'm kind of
Well,
disappointed.
it's on pay per view, eh?
But his pay-per-view.
Yeah, so it's like nobody's going to really order that. And let's not forget Crawford's 35. He's 36 next, so he's getting up there. I was watching it and I did a little some research on it and I mean it's basically a tune-up fight, but the only chance he has, David has, is if Crawford starts slow the first 2 to 3 rounds, then he gets in his rhythm and turns it up. So if he's going to get in there, he's got to get in the first 3 rounds and establish himself, or else Crawford's going to win a decision, I'd assume. Maybe he'll finish him, but Crawford has 10 knockouts in his last 9 fights. Sorry, 10 knockouts last 10 fights.
Well,
So he's been
here's the
knocking
deal.
guys out. And he
If this
finished Sean Porter, which is a hard guy to finish.
Well, I look at it this way. When it comes to Crawford, I mean, Bud is pound for pound number one,
But shouldn't be.
even though he fights every 3 years,
Yeah,
seems
that's
like,
ridiculous.
right? Where a guy like Devin Haney unified all the titles, defended all the titles, and still can't get past number 8 on the pound for pound list.
Yeah.
And you look at all the guys that Devin Haney has fought leading up to those 2 fights, they're all world champions.
I know, and he fights regularly.
Right.
So
And he doesn't slouch from anyone. Like he's not
look at it
hiding
this
from
way.
anyone.
Crawford is fighting Avanesyan, and then Spence is fighting Keith Thurman. Look at the difference of quality.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Once again,
Like,
right?
come
I mean,
on.
you look, and not, taking nothing away from Ugas or anything like that, but I mean, he's a step up from anyone that Crawford's fought in the last little while
Oh,
outside of Sean
absolutely is.
Porter.
Yeah. Except for Sean Porter. He's
Outside
only
of
got to
Porter.
finish Porter, but yeah.
Well, that's it, right? Outside of Porter, who's he fought? What makes him pound for pound number one? I don't get it. Like I
I
met
guess
him and
because of his
everything,
last
and
10 knockouts, that's probably why he's a knockout specialist. He 10
yeah.
TKOs the last 10 fights. That's kind of why they gave it to him. They shouldn't have it.
So KOs are more important than someone unifying all the titles and fighting champions throughout his whole career?
How could that guy be ahead of Tyson Fury, the guy who knocks everybody, finishes everybody off, and he's not even this guy's ahead of him? I guess because Tyson Fury's a heavyweight, he can't be considered number one. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Usyk is technically ahead of Fury too on that list.
Yeah, which shouldn't be, but
I don't know. It's contrived, man. Because on one end, okay, yeah, he's ahead of him because he's got 3 belts, and the other one's only got one. Where the other end is who's got the 3 belts? Is it Thurman? Is it Spence or is it Crawford? No, Crawford. Spence has 3 of the 4, right?
Spence has 3.
Right. So he's lower
right.
than him, and
Yeah.
he's fought higher talent. He's fought more, you know,
Yeah, and he's going
for
against Thurman
matches.
again, so that's not going to be. He'll beat Thurman. It won't be an easy fight. Thurman's game.
I don't think Thurman's the right guy for that fight personally. He hasn't done it. He's had one fight since he's come back,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, you're I don't know. But then
Of
again,
all the boxing shows I've been to, and I've been to quite a few live boxing in Vegas, when Pacquiao thumped him in that first round, he went down. I've never heard a place go so crazy. It was electric, man. Nobody's, because Pacquiao was what, 39, 40 at the time, and 40. He's like, boom, put him down. I was like, holy crap, this guy's an animal. And after that, it's like, man, this guy's unbelievable.
yeah, no, 100%.
Gave Thurman his first loss, that was beautiful to see. The best fight of the night, even over my boy Pacquiao, is Lopez versus Martin. That's going to be probably the best fight of the night, I think.
Is that on the
because
same card?
Sandor Martin, he beat Mikey Garcia.
Yeah. He did.
Hall of Famer. So Lopez should win, but it's not going to be an easy fight for him. It's kind of like a trap fight because he's the last minute replacement.
Teofimo's back on ESPN, correct?
Yeah, this Saturday.
Yeah.
MSG. So. And Sandor Martin, he beat Mikey Garcia, future Hall of Fame. This is a trap fight for Lopez because he's fighting. And Martin's a late replacement. So this trap fight basically means people that don't know you're fighting a really high caliber opponent at the last minute, which could end up upsetting you. Like I think Lopez will win a decision, but it's not going to be an easy fight for him. It's probably the most competitive fight of the night of the main ones.
No, 100%. And I think that Teofimo's doing that. I get why he's doing it. He needs to rebuild himself.
But he's being a little more humble this time. But he's calling himself the Albert Einstein of boxing, which come on, dude. But he's not taking this guy lightly.
No.
And he was totally today dissing all the 135ers. They're not real fighters. They're not game. 145 is where it's at. I'm coming to finish Martin and go all the way, kind of thing. So.
Well, he's got to say all the right things, right?
I get it. You got to have confidence.
He's got to have the confidence and whatnot. And I commend Teofimo for taking this fight on short notice and what have you. It just shows, what he's all about. I think a lot of people got the wrong image of this guy after the Kambosos fight and all the lead up into it.
Yeah, because he was showing him and his dad were,
Well, I get all that, but what I'm saying is I think people forget, and again, we're talking about the casual fan, I guess, and the fans that kind of just kind of tuning into his career. If that's the first things you're seeing of the guy going into anything, obviously most people are going to think negatively and poorly about him, correct? Not knowing.
Yeah, this Martin's a good fighter. He's elusive. He's got good head movement, good lateral movement. I mean, Lopez is definitely the favorite, but it's not going to be a walk in the park.
No, it's not. But let's not forget that Teofimo beat Lomachenko.
He did, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
And he went into that fight against Kambosos, and I'm not taking anything away from George, but he wasn't well. Teofimo wasn't at 100%. He wasn't well. He was suffering from something that he didn't even know about till after the fight.
Yeah.
How sick he really was. So, I mean, to go the distance where George Kambosos lose, obviously, I get it. But to be that sick at the same time and not know it, what does that say about George then?
Yeah. No, I hear you. So,
I mean, then
I think they'll fight again one more time, Kambosos and Lopez. Teofimo want to avenge that loss.
But he has to avenge that loss, right? But I mean, then again, what does George do here now? Like, I mean, George can't lose 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's probably going to happen probably in the next couple of years. I wouldn't see it for 2023 in any way.
Yeah.
But then again, that would mean that Kambosos will probably have to go up. I don't think Lopez is going to go back down again.
No, I don't think so. He wants to stay at 140, so.
Well, I'm kind of curious.
3 big fights. I mean, the Pacquiao fight's that position, but there's 3 big fights.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'm looking forward to see how he handles the power, right? I mean, this is the one thing I'm kind of curious about, these 130s, 135ers coming up. Shakir Stevenson, Gervonta Davis, and Devin Haney, and all those guys going up there. Out of all of the names I just said, I think the only guy who has the true power is Tank.
Yeah,
right?
Agree.
So if you go up to 140, does Haney have to become like a Mayweather in order to stand his ground? Because I don't think he has the power to match most of those guys up there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's going to be fun to see. There's a lot of good talent at 140, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, Teofimo wins the fight. But like I said, Martin's no joke, and I see Teofimo unanimous decision is my prediction on that fight.
Yeah, no, and I think ultimately
that's because Martin's beat Mikey Garcia, so he's a game fighter.
No, he's a total game fighter, and this should probably be the first true fight for Teofimo since his comeback, right? The comeback or whatever he's calling it, right?
Yep.
So I mean, this is going to be an amazing night here of
3 good fights. I mean, I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. It's good, and hopefully the weather's really crappy, so we don't have to go outside and do anything, and we
There's a good
can kind of
excuse to
go
watch
from
it
there.
all.
Right? Absolutely, brother. This day in boxing history, did anything happen?
I got two things. One thing I
Oh,
hate to say, I actually watched that fight with a couple of guys that you know at Abbey Road. It's Pacquiao and Marquez 4. Pacquiao was whooping his butt. He was getting aggressive because Pacquiao wanted to get the knockout. Told everybody I want to finish this guy. I mean, yes, Marquez was on PEDs, but still, he lunged in the double fist. Marquez countered him. Pacquiao was out. When I mean out, he was out cold. I'll never forget Roy Jones' exact words. Jim Lampley, greatest boxing commentator ever, one of them, him and Howard Cosell. He's not getting up. He's not getting up. So that's what happened. Another thing that happened, Floyd Mayweather, round 10, TKO, Ricky hit Manhattan, 2008. And while we're on history, I got to say rest in peace to my favorite and probably the greatest boxing referee of all time. He would have been
Mills
85,
Lane,
Judge Mills Lane, and had a great TV show, by the way. He was there for Bite Night, when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear. Many, many great fights. I was actually reading a thing on him a few days ago. He said of all the guys he refed, everybody, name a big guy, he said, there's nobody like Sugar Ray, a great fighter, and the most important thing outside of the ring, he can't teach class. He had it all. He was the greatest athlete I ever seen in the ring. That's coming from Judge Mills Lane. And he had a stroke
Clarify.
in 2002. He kind of suffered forever.
Are we talking Leonard or are we talking Robinson?
What's that?
Are we talking Leonard or Robinson?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
Because that dude's been around for everybody, man.
And the greatest man he's seen outside of the ring, according to the judge.
That guy has
and he was
been
a nonsense guy. And another thing that people forget, he coined the phrase before the fight, let's get it on. That was Judge Mills Lane's thing, and he's known for that. And he's the most famous and best boxing referee of all time.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Great show. I used to watch the show too. It was a good show. Judge show. Like a judge. He was Judge Judy before Judge Judy.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing episodes of it here and there. I never really watched a full episode of Judge Mills. Yeah. But I'll be honest, man, like that dude had the best seat for some of the greatest fights ever put on, man. Yeah. I mean, he was in his prime at the era of the Four Kings. He got to see Tyson, Holyfield. I mean, you name it.
Duran, all these guys.
Duran, he's had the best seat in the house for a lot of these fights, man.
Well respected. You won't hear one boxer, one trainer say one bad word about the guy. Also, in the 50s, when he was in the Marines, he started boxing. And then when he got too old, he started becoming ref. And then in 98, he retired. 2002, I think he would have been 60, 65. He had a stroke. I mean, he went on, but you didn't see him much in public because of that stroke. And then he just passed away a couple of days ago. So rest in peace, the greatest boxing referee of all time, Mr. Mills Lane.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree.
Let's get it on, as he would say.
There you go. And then taken by Big John McCarthy in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. All right. Well, I tell you what, my man, I think we've covered everything we needed to cover here.
Ground, yeah.
But you know, there is one thing I want to leave you with. I'm just kind of curious about this, like, you know, when a boxer trains as hard as they do for a fight and whatnot, I want to understand this. I'm going to try to find someone to talk to us about this if I can. I'm curious to know, like, I'm going back to the Chocolatito Estrada fight here. It's just like, okay, like I said, it felt like for the first 2 to 3 rounds, Chocolatito was sitting in his car with the engine revving, but not going anywhere.
He overtrained for that fight, they were saying.
Well, he could have overtrained or whatever
the case. 35, right?
No, I get that. But I mean, at the end of it, I think what I'm concerned about is like, and we've seen this with other fighters, and we've seen this in other fights as well, where there's so much hype and everything is everything. And you're thinking, okay, these guys are going to come out guns blazing and what have you. But one guy seems to kind of lost something right from the get-go. Like what causes that? I am curious to understand that. Like what
they're saying overtraining. You're 35, you're doing too much sparring, you're training too hard. It happened to Pacquiao against Ugas. He was running around in Vegas, started cramping his leg, pulling something in his leg. He just trained so hard because he wanted to beat Ugas so bad. And then it's too much on his body at 42, 43, and ended up losing. So,
but it's kind of weird that everything shuts down as soon as the bell rings. That's what I'm trying to understand. It's like, is it physical? But it has to be a lot mental in there as well, right? Too. You know, the psychology behind it is what I'm trying to understand. Obviously, the physical toll, but I think this is more of a mental issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both mental and physical.
right? But you know, I like to understand
And
that
as
a
you get
bit more.
older, 35, 40, those same shots you could absorb don't feel as good anymore.
No, they
So
don't. They don't. But if you're coming out completely flat at the beginning of the fight before you even take a shot, that's where I'm trying to go with this. Like, okay,
maybe that was his game plan. Start slow, let Estrada tire down, come out.
but
I'm not sure.
that's what cost him in the case of this fight, based on what you
Yeah.
just said, that's what cost him in the last fight is this slow start.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the
No, I
one thing,
agree.
if he got anything out of the last fight, he needed to bag those first two rounds.
Totally
Right?
agree. Totally
Right.
agree.
So knowing what you have to do, knowing what pace you have to set, knowing all of it, what still makes a fighter come out completely flat after an 8-week training camp, all the press conference, all the hype, everything you've said, what turns off inside a man's brain or a woman's brain to make them completely flat? That's what I want to understand. And I hope I can find someone who
I
can
think everybody
do
will give
that.
you a different answer. Some people will say this, some people will say that.
Well, I mean, we're gonna find people who want to talk about it, right? So, I mean, fans out there, if
Yep.
you're listening to this and you've lasted with us this long, if you have an opinion on this, let us know what you guys think. And if you're out there and you know what this kind of contributes to, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the
I
show
actually know
to
the
talk
perfect
about
guy
it.
to ask that question to, but I won't reveal his name yet. So let's see if I can lock him down.
Okay, for sure. All right. On that note, then, my man, I tell you what, we've covered Christmas shopping. We covered two great fights. We looked ahead at some amazing fights,
We
potentially
covered
amazing
exhibition
fights,
boxing to real
exhibition,
boxing.
you know it. So here we go.
From
So
Europe to
we
America, we went all around the
Oh,
world
we've been
to
all
Korea.
around the world. Yeah, we're gonna go to Korea this weekend too. All right, my man. On that note, I am Bobby Sampson. I am joined with my man, Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that like, subscribe, download, share the podcast, we salute you. Rest in peace to the great Judge Mills Lane.
Absolutely, we salute you. And yes, Mills Lane, thank you for all the memories. Thank you for all the great fights. Thank you for everything. And remember, Mills Lane was a referee before instant replay and all that shit was around, right? So,
Absolutely.
and I don't think he got very many calls wrong.
No, he was pretty like one of the most well respected referees ever, if not the most. So
Yeah, and for a little guy, man, he wasn't afraid to get in between
he's
those big
spicy.
boys,
Yeah, he's a tough
right?
guy.
Absolutely. All right, brother man. On that note, in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp and Chance. We will talk to you guys Tuesday. So be safe and enjoy the weekends. Christmas parties are starting with companies and all that. So if you're out and about drinking and drugging, I guess nowadays, so I guess you can do that now. Please make sure you get home safely. There's a lot of people out there who love you, and we want you to be able to hear us on Tuesday. So take care, everybody. We will talk to you next week.